ArcelorMittal facility in Saldanha against the threat of retrenchments at the steel plant. About 900 people stand to lose their jobs due to downscaling operations. Let's get more on the story from our reporter Vanessa Poonah, who's standing by in Saldanha. A very good afternoon to you, Vanessa. Around 900 people possibly set to lose their jobs. What's happening?
Yes, good afternoon to you. A short while ago, a picket ended here in front of the gates of ArcelorMittal, better known as Saldanha Steel. Of course, operations having been ongoing here for the past 20 years or so. And we spoke to quite a number of people that have been contracted for as long as that, telling us that they are not only facing destitution as themselves, but also the people that they employ, affecting hundreds and if not thousands, because for each person that indeed has a job or that indeed draws a salary, four more are dependent on that kind of income. And joining me to talk about the protest and the picket action here today is Sammy Claassen from the South African Social and Economic Development Forum. Sammy, good afternoon to you. You've led a picket outside the gates of Saldanha Steel today. We understand that as many as 924 people stand to lose their jobs. You've made a clarion call on government. Reiterate for us exactly what it is you want government to do in the face of the closure of this plant.
When this plant closes, it's not only the 924 direct jobs that will be affected, but it's about also including to that number it's between 100 and 200 subcontractors who employs about 2,000 workers daily on this plant. So we're talking roughly about 4,000 to 5,000 people that will be affected by the closing of Saldanha Steel.
What would you like to see? Because you mentioned just now that you want government to intervene. What is it that you want government to do?
Our demand is clearly for government to intervene in this matter. We also want this plant not to be closed, but to be kept open. So we reject outrightly as a community, we reject the retrenchments and the shutting down of this plant.
Sammy, you also, we've heard from people, from various contractors, that the face of the entire West Coast region will change if indeed this plant does close. Paint us a picture. You from this region itself. We understand that largely for many, many years, the West Coast region depended on fishing and fishing industries and so on. But this particular plant, steel, has also brought prosperity for some over the years, an opportunity to make an income, to make a living. What happens to the fragment of society, to the picture of society when this plant closes?
When this plant closes, it means absolute poverty. It means absolute unemployment. The labor force of Saldanha Steel is a skilled labor force. It's a pool of artisans. It's a pool of technicians. It's a pool of engineers. It's a pool of IT specialists. About 1,000 skilled workers will be lost for South Africa. Our ability to produce steel in South Africa will be lost because these people will have no other option but to look for employment overseas. So we are calling on government to stop the bleeding. We can't take this unemployment. We can't take the news of ArcelorMittal that they will shut down this plant. If they close this plant, it will mean that this big, beautiful factory producing quality steel will become a white elephant and an ornament. What we are saying, that this land must remain a productive land. It must remain a commercially viable facility that will be able to sustain jobs, create jobs, and export quality steel to the rest of the world.
Thank you very much. Sammy Claassen, of course, a community activist who's also led a picket here outside the gates of Saldanha Steel today. And a short while ago, we spoke to the chairperson of the West Coast Chamber of Commerce, Shana Darmansa, who did indeed say that they have been meeting with various stakeholders and role players, and also that they are looking towards creating some sort of business rescue plan, although at this point it's not clear exactly how this will be defined, to assist businesses not only those that belong to the chamber, but for the entire region in the face of what appears to be an imminent closure of this plant behind me, which does offer and produce not just steel products. I understand, I've read over 1.2 million tons, but also that has offered job opportunities to for so many years here on the West Coast.
Vanessa Poonah giving us an update there from Saldanha. We'll keep you followed on that story.